from me and Obi. He's becoming a permanent fixture at these readings now. He's quite liking it down in my writing shed, listening to the stories. I'm going to have to make room for Danny and Joe at some point because we're nearly at the end of the book, and I did promise they could come back for another reading, so maybe the next one, we shall see. But for tonight we have Obi, and I'm going to read you chapter 18. Okay, enjoy. Dad didn't take much convincing to take a right at the next roundabout instead of turning left to the town centre car parks. I think the whole family were excited to see what St. Christmas was up to now. Do you think he's climbed up a tree next to the cathedral? Asked Big Spud. I bet he's climbed up the flagpole, joined in Pocket Rocket. We'll soon find out, said Mum, as we pulled into the car park. We saw groups of people walking in the direction of the cathedral as Dad pulled up the car's handbrake. Apparently, we weren't the only ones who'd been listening to the radio. We all clambered out of the car and raced towards the cathedral to see what was going on. We stopped and looked up in shock as we arrived at where a crowd was quickly gathering. All eyes were gazing upwards. St. Christmas wasn't up a tree. He wasn't even up the flagpole. There, 160 foot off the ground, sitting next to the angel statue, was the unmistakable Father Christmas costume, fake beard and sunglasses. He was sitting like he didn't have a care in the world at the top of the cathedral itself. I looked up feeling a little anxious. What if he slipped and fell? Mum followed my gaze and read my mind. Look, she said, pointing up. He's got a rope tied around his waist. He must be planning on abseiling down when he's raised enough money for little Darcy. I gazed around me at the ever-growing crowd. There must have been about 200 people there, and others were still walking up from the car park. There was a sudden crackling sound as St. Christmas raised a megaphone to his lips. I hadn't even noticed it sitting next to him. He was so far up it looked the size of the jug from Little Spud's toy tea party set. Please don't ask me why my little brother has such a girly toy. Let's just say Mum is to blame for that one. Ho, 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 came a crackly voice through the crowds. He was so high up that the sound travelled effortlessly above us in the wind. The crowd cheered at the sound of his voice. Mum and Dad grinned at us. This was turning into quite a day out. Everyone was really getting into the spirit of things. If you raise £10,000 for little Darcy, I will abseil down the cathedral, he boomed. However, if you manage to raise £20,000, I will also reveal my true identity when I get to the bottom. A big cheer went up from the crowd as my face fell. This couldn't be happening. This was my story. I was going to be the one to do the big identity reveal in the article that would blow all other contestants' efforts out of the water. Now St. Christmas was going to completely ruin it. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my mobile phone. I found the contact I was after and started typing a message. I know it's you. Please don't tell everyone who you are. Want to write about it for Newspaper Comp. I held my breath, hoping that St. Christmas would have his mobile phone up there with him. Seconds later, I saw him reaching into his pocket for what must have been his phone. He was too far away for me to know for sure, but my suspicions were confirmed when I heard my own phone beep moments later. How did you find out? Sorry, I have to. Could save little girl's life. I shrugged my shoulders in defeat. He was right. What was more important, me winning the newspaper competition or a little girl getting life-saving treatment? It was a no-brainer. Okay, I text back. You're right. My phone pinged again almost instantly. You can get exclusive interview though. That should make front page news. A huge grin spread across my face as I realised how huge this was. A full-time paid reporter with 20 years experience would kill to get a scoop like this, and the glory was going to be all mine. Who are you texting? Asked Tommy. Oh, just Lottie, I lied. She wanted to speak to me, but I told her I was busy. I crossed my fingers behind my back so that the lie didn't count. I was only a little porcupine anyway. Isn't it the middle of the night in Australia? questioned Tommy as he narrowed his eyes suspiciously at me. I've got a great idea, said Dad, saving me from further interrogation. How about we all donate our Secret Santa money to this good cause? If we all put £5 in, that's £30 we can put towards helping little Darcy. £30 isn't much, said Pocket Rocket. She needs about £100,000 for that treatment, Dad. I know, he replied, but just imagine. If everyone who is here now gave £5, that would be £1,000 just like that. There must be at least 200 people here already. And judging by the number of people taking photos on their phones, that number is going to double in the next half an hour. Then there's everyone else who can't come down here, but will donate anyway because it's such a good cause. That's right, said Mum. I wonder if St. Christmas is actually Darcy's dad, and this was his plan all along to raise money for her treatment. I reckon they'll raise far more than the £20,000 he's asked for. I smiled smugly to myself, knowing that I was the only person in the entire crowd who had already worked out the identity of St. Christmas, whilst everyone else was still guessing. So what do you reckon? Asked Dad. Are you all up for it? Big Spud and Little Spud looked at me to see how I, as the big brother, would react. Pocket Rocket beat me to it though, surprising us all. Okay, I'll donate my £5, he said. I smiled at my younger brother, who was usually the first to feel hard done by if his Secret Santa present was even 1 pence below the maximum budget of £5. Maybe my little brother was learning the art of giving and not just getting after all. Me too, I said. Me 3, said Big Spud. Me 6, said Little Spud, not quite getting the logic behind what Big Spud was saying. Oh, I knew you boys were listening when I kept telling you to be kind all these years, said Mum, grabbing us all into a group hug. I'll give £100 to you, Mr. C, said Tommy, pulling a big wad of notes out of his pocket. He looked sheepish as my brothers looked at him with their mouths wide open. Dad gave it to me to buy myself a Christmas present, he said. I'd much rather help Darcy with it. There's nothing I need anyway. Poor Tommy. He would much rather his parents had given him something cheap and little if it meant they put a bit of thought into it. I made a mental note to ask Mum if Tommy could do Secret Santa with us next year. That's really kind, Tommy, thanks, said Dad, taking the money. Now, how do we go about giving the money to this crazy daredevil St. Christmas? Right on cue, St. Christmas held up his megaphone to make an announcement. Ho, ho, ho! If any of you lovely lot would like to donate to this great cause, there is a Just Giving page you can connect to right now on your mobile phones. It's titled Do It for Darcy. Come on everyone, do it now and I'll put you on my nice list. I looked around me and saw a sea of hands holding mobile phones. Every onlooker seemed to be in a trance doing exactly what St. Christmas had told them to. He would raise enough money to help Darcy 10 times over at this rate. What an amazing thing to witness. Dad put the cash in his pocket and pulled out his phone to do the same. I'll transfer £130 from my bank account right now, he said. Does that mean you can use the cash to buy us all something yummy? Asked Pocket Rocket, never wanting to miss out on an opportunity. He caught Dad at the right time though, on a high from all the feel-good vibes around us. He responded with, sure, why not? Let's use it for a takeaway pizza tonight, which was met with nods of approval from all of us. You couldn't beat a good pepperoni pizza night. Maybe now is a good chance to ask Dad to grab us a few tubs of cookie dough ice cream for pudding. This is crazy, said Dad, looking at his phone in astonishment. Look at this, boys. We all crowded round his phone and watched as the total on the Do It for Darcy page rose second by second. It quickly changed from £150 to £1,000 to £2,000 to £3,000. Wow, that's a lot of money, I exclaimed. There are a lot of people out with good hearts out there, said Mum. I glanced up at St. Christmas, feeling nothing but admiration and pride. All around me, people were standing, almost in silence, looking at their phones. They were undoubtedly doing exactly the same as we were and watching the total raise by the second. I quickly looked back down at Dad's phone as I heard someone shout, "It's hit 10,000!" It didn't stop there though. The amount just kept going up and up. It was only a matter of time before St. Christmas was going to abseil down the cathedral and reveal his true identity to the waiting masses, and I wanted a front row seat. It's getting exciting, isn't it? Okay, so I wonder if you might have guessed who St. Christmas might be. So let's listen up tomorrow, and in the next couple of chapters we will find out who it is doing all these amazing things. Right, I've got a very sleepy dog on my lap. I think my story has sent him to sleep. A nice little bedtime story. Okay, let's get you up to say goodbye, fella. Oh, good boy. We will see you again tomorrow night. Thanks for listening. Bye.